a good one. Both humorous and educational. How's the new microphone working? Now my crappy voice can be heard in better fidelity. 20 things photographers get wrong. Okay, really it's 13. But I had to call it 20. So someone's going to call this misleading advertising, right? You only got 13, not 20. Number one. Now, when I say 20 things photographers get wrong, really I'm only talking about a couple photographers. But also some of these apply to most people. FX lenses on DX sensors changes the depth of field. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Every lens, it doesn't matter who makes it, dumps the same light, and it has no idea what size sensor is underneath it. Dumps the same luminal density. It dumps the exact same depth of field. A crop is a crop is a crop, and a crop is only ever a crop. So that's hogwash. Point number two. The inverse. DX lenses on full-frame cameras increases noise. No, they don't, baby. In DX crop mode, you get less resolution. Say, for example, Nikon D810, you shoot in DX crop mode, you throw a DX lens on it, and some DX lenses are really good. Not many, but a few are. 1755 is really good, 35 1.8 is really good. You get less resolution. Nikon D810 in crop mode, for example, is a 15.4 megapixel camera. Obviously, everything has to be scaled up no matter what sensor it is. You're going to make an 8x10, an 8x10 is an 8x10. So if you have to blow up that image more, you're going to see a loss in resolution. So that has to do with pixel pitch and amount of translational information per square millimeter. So that's wrong. Point number three. Anybody that says light meters, which are used basically by 100% of studio photographers with strobes and speed lights and whatnot, is throwback technology, does not know what they're talking about. No way, shape, or form. They are talking, the technical jargon is that they are talking outside of their wheelhouse. It's kind of like a professional mathematician telling a farmer how he should raise his crops. It's like, I appreciate your mathematical skills and your ability to cogitate the number 10 to the fourth power, but you, sir, don't know anything about farming, and you need to get the hell out of here. So, anybody that says that about light meters regarding photography has no idea what they're talking about. Just flat out none. None, because it is absolutely false. It's nonsense. It's twaddle. It's unicorn farts. It's leprechaun dust. It's just wrong. Okay, just flat out wrong. Point number four. Some people, or maybe a couple people, said you don't need ND filters or circular polarizing filters. Well, I don't care what your mad skills are in Photoshop, but you sure as hell do need ND filters and circular polarizers. Not in every situation, obviously so. But ND filters are part of the repertoire of basically every professional photographer to shoot at a wide open aperture and yet tone down the light so they can actually get the correct exposure. And you see, that does not happen in Photoshop or Lightroom. That happens on your camera. Now, there's a reason why professional photographers have a lot of ND filters. So someone that says you don't need filters, nah. No. Point number five. Photography is a huge topic. And talking about stuff you don't have any clue about is both bad and stupid. Someone that both confesses that they don't use studio strobes, and, just one example, let's say, doesn't use studio strobes, and says that nobody needs a light meter, and that it upsets this person when someone uses or advocates a light meter. This is a statement which is unintelligent, illogical, and absurd. This again gets back to the whole wheelhouse thing. Photography is one big ass topic. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, it's like saying an expert farmer of 60 years that's good at growing crops. That doesn't mean the person knows how to raise cows or chickens. I mean, the guy might be, planting tobacco or something. He's an expert at how to cultivate and run his John Deere tractor and cultivate tobacco. He's a master farmer by every definition, but that person may not know jack squat about raising milk cows. They're both farmers, but they both have their own wheelhouse. So people should stick to their own wheelhouse. That means just because you're a master, in this case, not a master of any division, but if someone is a master of a certain area of photography, that doesn't mean they know a damn thing about any other branch of photography. So, point number 6. People that squawk about lens sharpness. Is it sharp? Is it sharp? Is it sharp? Uh, this is like a homeless alcoholic who only talks about alcohol content and booze rather than, how you have the la-di-da wine sniffers. Photography, by the way, is an art form. And a lot of things are as important and sometimes more important than the absolute resolving power of the lens. The one lens that has made more money for more photographers than any other lens is a 24-70 2.8 Nikkor. That lens is not all that damn sharp. But that lens is awesome. It's the tits for many reasons. There's some Zeiss lenses and some Voigtlander lenses that are just incredible, but they don't have incredibly high resolution. Most Zeiss lenses are kind of infamous for high resolution. But this is not true. You need to, like the Zeiss Otis. I've had some people attack me for the Zeiss, picking on the Zeiss Otis. That lens is incredibly sharp, but that lens sucks. And a lot of people that I know, 100% certain, that know a lot about lenses, and there's not many of those people out there. They email me, it's like, yes, all these people giving you flack about the Zeiss Otis. I tried it and I think it sucks. It's just sharp. I mean, I hate the lens. It's just horrible. It has no awesome characteristics. So people that talk only about lens resolution are just not that educated on what all the awesome properties of micro contrast, color saturation, edge definition, vignetting, chromatic aberration, on and on and on and on and on. There's a lot of beautiful qualities of a lens that are outside the spectrum of pure resolution. That's not to say that people love love a fuzzy lens, However, some fuzzy lenses, some nasty fuzzy, some people actually make them fuzzy on purpose, and they make some of the best-selling portraits look at, let's not be crude here, but let me tell you the truth, okay? Not that I buy dirty magazines, but I know a thing or two about photography. It is the case that, and this has been a joke now for 40 years, that Penthouse magazine that has made millions and millions and millions of dollars taking pictures, nude pictures of women, where you would swear to God that they stuck a filter on the front of that lens and then they smeared some Vaseline all over it. And that's what the pictures look like. And, I don't know if that magazine's still in print or not. I think it is. But that magazine's been doing that now for 30 years plus. And, the lenses are fuzzy as hell. They use soft focus filters or whatever. I mean, they did all sorts of stuff. I know for a fact that some shots were actually shot with Vaseline on the filter. And, the resolution was bad. Photography is an art form, bitches. So, talk about resolution only goes so far. And, I've used and tested more lenses than all of you combined, and that's not really anything to boast about. It's not like saying I'm rich, tall, dark, and handsome or something like that, but I mean, there's a lot more to a lens that makes it have an admirable overall characteristics than pure resolution. 7, someone squawking about a lens's sweet spot. It doesn't bloody matter where your lens's sweet spot is at. An f1.4 lens, the sweet spot is at f8 or something like that. It matters when your lens lifts its skirt up at its full aperture. This is where lenses reveal to you their true nature. It's kind of like looking at a hot chick, and the skirt gets lifted up, and it's like, oh my God, there's like red pussy warts that, this is where lenses lift their skirts. Saying, well, a crappy lens has got a sweet spot at f8. Well, who gives a damn? Someone that knows about lenses cares about how it actually performs wide open. This is always where a lens lifts its skirt and shows you what the hell it is. There is no sweet spot of a lens because this is an art form, and there's 1,000 things that matter in composition. The beautiful lens, and it's just a sexy looking lens, the 50mm f1.2, which is an expensive lens, and it's really sexy because it's got a rear element, just as, it's huge. Huge. That lens at f1.2 is just, it's there's not really much, the depth of field on it is about like that, but that lens is not so hot. Pixel density. And the notion that more or less pixels affects noise, it's not more or less pixels, it's pixel pitch. The size of those photo sites. Rather, the gain of the shot does. Pixel density affects resolution only. As a general rule, high pixel density equals small photo sites, which equals more noise if it is taken at the exact same exposure with the same lens on another camera with a different size photo site to pixel pitch. Likewise so in shadow detail. The general rule is that gigantic photo sites suck up shadow detail, which is very important for shooting raw and bringing out detail and being able to have the dynamic range to not only not clip your highlights but pull out information in shadows. So that's really very true of importance when it comes to black and white photography. Number 9. Awesome camera spec charts equals a great camera. This is such wrong BS, I don't even know where to start. It's an awesome ecosystem that equals a great camera. You buy into an ecosystem and much less so a camera. The Fuji X-T1 isn't an awesome camera because it has 10,000 buttons sniffing specifications on it. It's like the D500 or some Sony Wonderbox. It's tough, it's well designed, it's made in Japan. It's incredibly intuitive, it has fantastic lenses, and flawless reliability. It's not the specification chart that makes the Fuji X-T1, for example, such a beloved camera. The Nikon D3, by today's standards, does not have awesome specifications at all. But that camera sells like hell. It sells hot and heavy. That camera is an old antique, it's a Nikon D3 from 2008. That camera is the shiznits. It's built like a tank. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's tougher than woodpecker lips. It's just amazing. So people that go off of camera spec sheets or, they just really have their head up their fanny and they don't know any better. Number 10, your lens is awesome because you own it. Well, I own the lens and it's got to be awesome because I couldn't have made a mistake. This is a big thing you encounter all the time. People love what they own. And no parent will ever concede, for example, that their child might be a butt ugly looking little critter in the spectrum of things. But realistically, we have to say what something is. It's like, your baby is ugly, or I'll say, that lens sucks. I'm sorry you bought it. I'm sorry you love it, but in the scheme of things, that lens does not rank too highly. This whole debate, who gives a damn about this? ISO, everybody in photography school and some of the best professional photographers in the world that dropped by photography school, they all said ISO. I'm not going to say ISO. ISO is an acronym. ISO stands for International Organization of Standardization. On their About page, which some knucklehead on YouTube refers to, they decided to use the acronym ISO, fashioned after the Greek word isos, or equal. It actually means something more than equal. For 25 years I've been hearing ISO, and if some knuckle puss wants to say, no, it's really ISO, well, that's fine. You go say whatever you want, but it is an acronym. It originally came out as International Organization for Standardization, and they even say that on their website. So, does anybody really give a damn about that? Art and technology, someone said, are equally important, but that's not true. Here's the truth of the matter. You need to know the art and you need to know the science. The art and the technology, someone else was saying. You need to know the art and you need to know the technology. But you only learn the technology up to the point where you can make it muscle memory so you can forget about the technology. The only reason you need to know the technology and science of photography is so you can forget it. You know, professional photographers, true ones out there that are taking shots in the field, they're not thinking about technology and calculating ratios in their head. I mean, sometimes they are when they're doing speed light and strobe illumination and stuff like that. Um, but the technology's only there for you to learn it and forget it. Not forget it in the absolute sense of I've forgotten it, but you make it muscle memory, so you're concentrating on the composition and the art form when you're shooting. The technology is not there in art and technology when I'm shooting. No. I learn the technology so I can forget about it. I can put it in the back of my brain where I'm never thinking about it when I'm taking a shot. So people that say that the science and technology needs to be exactly the same as art, well, they're halfway right. But you only study it so you can put it in the back of your brain. Someone said that manual focus is worse than autofocus. Well, that's BS. I mean, I grew up with manual focus. Manual focus is far more accurate than autofocus, especially at narrow depth of field. Your camera doesn't have a clue in hell what the hell it is you want to focus on at f1.2, f1.4, f1.8. It doesn't have a clue in hell. It's like, well, I can boom my autofocus point there and it will focus it. Yeah, when you got a really shallow depth of field, your camera still doesn't know. For mirrorless, for example, you focus peaking, I can choose the plane of focus. Autofocus is always much worse at shallow depth of field since it cannot discriminate, no matter where you place the autofocus point, discriminate between the focus of the eye versus the nose, for example, at f1.2. Your camera, even with perfect autofocus, will screw that up quite often. So someone says someone that says autofocus is all the way for me, that person's a fool. It'd be just someone that doesn't know how to use a manual focus lens. Manual focus makes you slow down, so you're not just spraying and praying. And I was like, well, I'm going to move my autofocus point. I know I'm at f1.4. I got a shallow depth of field. I'm going to move it the eye. No. I know it's harder on a regular DSLR versus a mirrorless with focus peaking, but everybody should really learn how to do focus peaking. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.